Charles and I had the opportunity to interview Kevin Foster, our on-campus expert, and Brandon Ott, our intramural sports, to learn more about getting involved on campus and staying active while on campus.
To let you know, this podcast is going to be called Let's Figure This Out. This first episode is called Connecting Virtually. So we'll like to get into it and learn actually who Kevin Foster is and what he does on campus for his day-to-day.
Thank you, Haley. Thank you, Charles, for having me on your podcast. Again, my name is Kevin Foster. I work in the Center for Multicultural Student Leadership and Engagement. And in the center, my more direct title is Student Involvement and Leadership Development. So right up your alley, my job is to get people connected, get them engaged, find opportunities to develop themselves, but also, find opportunities to get connected on campus, such as student engagement in organizations.
Thank you. Touching on the organizations that we have on campus, would you be able to tell us about the types of organizations that we have and how a student could get involved?
Sure. Yeah, we have over 15 types of organizations. This includes club sports, academics, honorary leadership, social Greek letter organizations, governance organizations, special interest, which is kind of like this other than. And between those 15, we have about 260 recognized groups. And so for anyone who's like, hey, there's nothing to do here, I always encourage them to think about, well, have you tried out an organization? And the best way to learn about that is by going to Crimson Connect. So every student here, who has an IUP, email address has access to Crimson Connect. And this is like our home for all of our student organizations. So if you haven't been on it, I highly recommend it. You can learn about the organizations, you can learn about the events they have going on. Some groups are really active with posting news and other updates of things they're working on. And all of that, again, can be found on Crimson Connect. Another neat component of it, if you're active and you're engaged and you're on the roster of an organization, Crimson Connect's a nice way to track your involvement. So if you go to an event and you get your attendance swiped, or if you're on the roster of multiple organizations, or if you're doing community service, all that stuff can be tracked through Crimson Connect. And you have this nice little co-curricular transcript. So when it's time for you to develop a resume, or you don't remember what you did your freshman year, but you knew that you were a part of this, you can go back and take a look, and you have a nice snapshot of your involvement in the organizations that you're a part of during a particular time or your entire time here at IUP.
Thank you. I have another question for you. So we understand that there's like sports and there's yoga that relieves stress physically, but we understand that organizations itself can be emotional standing for students. It allows us to finally and actually connect with the campus. So what do you think are the skills and the qualities that students gain from actually being in organizations on campus?
Oh gosh. For me, like, organizations are the petri dish of your development. Opportunities to succeed, opportunities to fail, and learn about you in those processes. I advise student government, and I have a lot of first-year students and a lot of seniors, and to see the growth and development in terms of communication, whether that's written, verbal, email, conflict resolution. Sometimes people come in and they don't know how to deal with what they're feeling. And by the end of it, we've had a chance to kind of process through the different challenges to say, hey, well, now how can we do that differently? Let's talk through that. And whether you're working with an advisor, a peer within an organization, or just, finding your way as you go along this path, organizations provide those unique opportunities. I tell people all the time, if you are willing to grow and you want to become better at yourself, join an organization and be involved. Some people want to join and just have it on their resume, and that's fine, but you're not really getting the most out of it that you can. Being actively engaged, plan an event, attend programs, take on a leadership position. These are all things that when it comes time to apply for a job and actually sit in an interview, you can have, concrete, tangential experiences that you can relate to. So instead of like talking like, well, I'm really good at doing these things, you can talk about how I planned a program. These are successes we had. These are challenges we had that we overcame. And employers love that. Anyone, if you're doing an internship or a job or whatever, when you could talk about challenges you've encountered and how you overcame them, how you learned about yourself and how you became better because of it, people love that stuff because it's authentic, it's real, and it shows where you are in terms of how you've grown. So those communication skills, those problem solving skills, organizational skills, knowing like the basics of what do I need to accomplish and getting a sense of time and time management. Those are just a few of the skills that you get by being involved in an organization.
I actually just had an interview recently for an internship where I used a lot of my experiences from the organizations that I'm a part of to give details on how I did something a certain way or why I did something. So these skills that you learn in these organizations for our viewers at home, this isn't like these are actual skills you're going to need in life. It's not just everybody says that, oh, you're gonna need this later in life, but like being in an organization and being involved on campus and in all these different clubs is such a great experience. And coming from my personal point of view, like it's just I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I wasn't a part of these organizations. Regarding Crimson Connect, would you say it's kind of like the one-stop shop to know everything about the organizations that we do have and to just kind of keep track of everything you've ever done?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely as it pertains to student organizations and events on campus, like it's the one place to go. Obviously, I say, it's one piece, like if you follow on Twitter or Instagram and, follow the emails and IUP Now, like you want to get all that information and that's good. But Crimson Connect should also be one of the avenues that you go to learn about student organizations and events on campus. And if you indulge me, I'm going to share, the Crimson Connect page here. And just when you come to Crimson Connect, you can sign in and it's going to ask for your IUP email. So your 4 or 5 letters at iup.edu and whatever your password is for like My IUP. So just like you sign into My IUP, you sign into Crimson Connect. And when you do that, you have the opportunity to search for organizations. Even the residence halls have their own pages where you'll learn about events and activities. And the neat thing about it is, not only can you look at the organization page, you can also look at maybe news posts that they've had in the past. When you go to an organization's page, so like my department has a page, you can see contact information, the Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or IUP website. You can get access to that content and that information. Any events that are coming up, you can check out and see what's happening for that organization. Now, I'll also say, if you go up to the top, once you're in, there's an event page, and you can see all the different events and activities that are going on. And if you're someone like me and you like free stuff, you can reset and see like who's giving out free stuff. And here, like Bacchus Bingo, you can win prizes and things like that. So highly recommend that you check that out, whether it's t-shirts, popcorn, or other things. There will be levels of in-person events during the spring semester, or there'll be events and activities going on where you can get gift certificates and other prizes. Check out that free stuff button. It's a fun way to figure out like, well, how can I get something? You can also check out by themes. So if you want to do service, that there's a relationship for volunteer training, and other things like that. Sports. Now I will put out there that club sports won't be acting in full capacity this semester because of COVID. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't check them out. We have about 19 active groups, and even during this time of COVID, they're still active, just not competing. And that means that they're practicing, and that means that they're still looking for people to join and learn how to play the sport. So when they do get the chance to compete, hopefully later this spring, they have active members and can go into the fall ready to go. And also want to show you can search organizations. So if you are, looking for student government, you can see that student government comes up, learn about the organization. They don't have their meetings up, so I'm gonna have to get on them about that. But that you can see the president. And so, hey, like you want to join, what do? You recommend you can reach out to the president, you can get their email address and you can follow up with them that way, or you can contact one of their advisors and follow up with them that way. So it's definitely like your one-stop shop to find out like what's happening, what's going on. And I do want to show that co-curricular transcript, so you have your own like little profile page here. When you go to co-curricular transcript, it lists different events and activities, down below and up top, all your different memberships. So I advised a couple different organizations and you can see titles that pop up, but maybe you were treasurer 1 year, secretary, vice president, president. And again, you have that all in one nice little spot.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
So from my understanding, when I hear organizations, I'm thinking of, student government or different groups where students can kind of just come collectively and, hang out, kind of release stress. But I understand that organizations go further than just that. There's also, organizations for majors, there's organizations for different talents. And then you also have like work studies where I actually benefited a lot from, because I got the chance to actually experience what I'm studying and put out forth. So what are different groups and organizations on campus that students can use, and what are the benefits that come from them?
Sure. Well, you hit it first off, like the academic related organizations. So if you are like a sociology major, highly recommend you join the sociology club. It gives you an opportunity to connect with like-minded people who are studying the same thing you are and care about sociology like you do. You also get to meet faculty. So it's not just the advisor who's probably in the faculty department, but other faculty want to be engaged because they care about sociology. And so whatever your major is, whether it's within Everly College of Business or other parts of math and science, you want to find your academic related organization, because at the very least you get connected with your network within your area of study, and that includes students and faculty. And I tell students, whenever I do orientation presentations, that might be a connection with a faculty member who can write a letter of recommendation or help you with research or get you connected with a job or other opportunities down the road. So like being engaged in that academic sense and that academic organization, highly recommend that everyone at least checks it out. If not everyone, be part of their academic related organization. Your governance related organizations, help you get connected and learning how to do advocacy work, be the voice of whatever population you're representing. So student governments for all students, but we also have NAACP, Black Student League, LASSO, some of these other groups that really work to help and advocate for students, for particular populations, and make sure that the issues and concerns that those students are dealing with are addressed. And you get to meet with administrators, you get to meet with other faculty and staff and students, and you get to build a unique network in that capacity. Obviously, through the club sports and any of those athletic related ones, you have that physical fitness piece, but a lot of them are all run by students. And so there's this level of responsibility and management that you get when you are one of the leaders of those clubs, or even just the person who's part of it, because you see the structure and the work that goes to that. If you're going to take on something and you feel like you're kind of by yourself, because some of these groups are pretty much on their own island, you see what it takes to operate a really good, successful program that's competing or doing things that are unique on your campus. Performing arts, we have groups that do dance, we have groups that do music. And so whether it's your major or not, you don't have to have that. You don't have to be dance major or music major to be part of these. So maybe you don't want to do it as part of your major, but you still have a passion for dance or music. There may be a group that you can continue your passion from high school into college through one of these two groups. And a litany of others. If you want to do service, and Habitat for Humanity, is a great organization. If you want to, in the past pre-COVID, go out and build a house and help your community in those different ways. So those are just some of the ways, some of the organizations that that can really help you, and the things that you can gain from those specific areas.
Thank you so much for coming on our podcast and speaking with us. So much help for allowing us to gather more information to address and give out to the students.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. Again, Kevin Foster, my email address, kfoster@iup.edu. So if you're looking to get involved and you need help or you just need some guidance and direction, don't hesitate to email me. I'm happy to help you out and get you pointed in the right direction.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.